This isn't really my TBR. I don't think I'm going to read all of these this month, but they're ones that I'm most excited to read this month. Hey, I'm Morgan, and today I'm going to be doing my January TBR and talking to you about the books that I hope to get to in January. I know that we're like halfway through the month and I didn't upload my January TBR in a timely manner. That's fine. I'm still going to talk to you about the books that I want to read this month, so here we go. The first book that I'm going to talk about is the Hot Mess Book Club Book of the Month for January, and that is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. If you don't follow us on our respective social medias, which I'll leave linked in the description, and if you didn't join us at our live show for our December book, you wouldn't know that our January book is Norse Mythology. I'm currently reading it, as you can tell. This is my second book by Neil Gaiman that I'm diving into ever, and it's super fun. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. We still don't really have a set in stone date for the January live show, but we're going to keep you guys posted once we figure that out with our scheduling stuff. So be on the lookout on the Hot Mess Book Club Twitter and Instagram for the live show date. If you didn't watch my last video, you won't know about the TBR jar, but I have this jar of all the unread books that I own, and every month I'm drawing 2 book titles out of the jar and reading them for that respective month. I didn't even think to do this on camera, so I didn't, but I'm going to show you the books that I pulled because they're part of my TBR now. We have Another Day by David Levithan. This is the companion novel to Every Day by David Levithan. I'm pretty sure this is Every Day, but in Rhiannon's perspective. And I'm excited to read a book with the character named Rhiannon because, my girl, Rhiannon at Crescent Reads, am I right? And the second book that I drew out of the jar was Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. This is a horror novel set in like an IKEA type furniture store, and I'm really excited about this one. This is one of my most like anticipated reads like ever. A friend from work, Heather, thank you, lent me some books as well that I'm really excited about. She'd heard that I hadn't read anything by Tolkien yet, and she felt like that was a disservice, so she lent me The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Tolkien? I don't know. And she also lent me The Making of Middle-earth, A New Look Inside the World of J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is by Christopher Snyder. This is basically a lot of the lore within Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. She said that this is a really good comprehensive guide to read before reading the Lord of the Rings series. This talks a lot about Tolkien's process in creating Middle-earth and bringing it to life and making this book series and stuff, and it dives deep into the lore, like I said, so I'm really excited to read this one because I love high fantasy, but I especially love anything with any sort of like extensive lore behind it. I can't wait to just devour this. I've been hanging out at the library so much more recently, and I leave with like so many books, so I don't think I'm gonna read all of these in January, but I have them in my possession right now, so they're books that, you know, I hope I can get to in January. The first 2 that I'm going to talk about are Every Heart a Doorway and Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shanan McGuire. These are the first 2 books in the Wayward Children series. To my knowledge, this is like a series of companion novels all in the same universe. It basically follows children that have gone to like portal fantasies, so they've gone through doors or fallen down rabbit holes and gone to these alternate worlds, and they come back and they're like seriously fucked up because they don't know how to readjust to their normal lives and to these mundane lives after they've gone to these extraordinary places. So they go to this boarding school, and it's called Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, and these books are super small. I've heard they're like small but mighty, and that they're super like powerful and that they pack punches. The 3rd book in this just came out. I don't know if it's a trilogy or if it's going to be expanded upon farther than that. I'm excited to have the first 2 installments in this series because I definitely think I can read both of these in like a day and just cry all day probably. The next book that I picked up from the library was Shatter by Tahereh Mafi. I find it to be a civil disservice that I have not yet read this book. This follows our main character Juliet, and her touch is lethal. That's literally all I know about it. The first book in the spin-off trilogy is coming out soon. Witty Novels raves about this book, raves about this series, raves about Tahereh Mafi, and I feel the need to finally read this series. I don't know what's kept me from it. I don't know what took me so long to get around to this, maybe because it's like more dystopian sci-fi and that's not really what I lean towards, but I've heard nothing but good, great, wonderful things about it. No better time than now, I guess, to finally read this. And the last book that I'm going to talk about, and the last book that I got from the library for right now, is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the DC Icons series. In case you're new here, or you're new to having me in your life, you would not know that I am completely and utterly obsessed with anything Wonder Woman. And the fact that I haven't read this yet is nuts. I haven't read anything by Leigh Bardugo, so it'd be kind of funny that this is the first thing by her that I read. I'm so excited to have a Wonder Woman novelization because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about this book. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Leigh Bardugo's writing style, so I'm super excited to dive into this book. I think that it'll be one that once I start reading it, I'll be totally hooked. So you guys, there you have it. Those are all the books that I hope to get to and are prioritizing above all other books to get to for the rest of the month of January. Please let me know in the comments what you plan on reading in the month of January. I definitely want to know. So I'm just way hyped to like read all these books and talk about them with you guys. If you like this video, you are more than welcome to give it a thumbs up if you feel so inclined. Definitely leave me comments talking about whatever your heart desires, but please let me know what you plan on reading for January. And if you want to see more of my content and more of my mug, you are more than welcome to subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like I said, my name is Morgan. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and happy reading. Okay, bye!